Hiya, Ali Pallies, and thank you for joining me today. Now, today is the second in my series called Lasting Impression. And today I've chosen a product that I actually haven't used a lot. So I'm going to talk you through it. I filmed it 9 months ago, and I'm going to talk you through it. And I do have some ideas about why I haven't used it a lot. So let's get going, shall we? Now, I did actually mean to film this a lot earlier. I've had to touch up my under eyes because I had to go out, my eyes watered, because poor Jack is in the wars and he's had a bit of an accident at school. So anyway, he's back, he's lying down and he's safe, he's well. So let's get going. Now, the first impression that I did 9 months ago was on this Benefit Brow Contour Pro and the little thing that I got with it, which is called a brow blender. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and my conclusions about why I haven't used it that much. Okay, now all in all, this is a good product and I still like the idea of it. So to recap, this is a brow pen and it's very like those pens that you used to find at school where you had different colours in the end. And it's got 4 elements to it. So it's got a deeper shade for the brows. It's got a lighter shade for the brows. It's got a definer, which is kind of so you can carve out your brows and make them more defined. So a bit like a concealer. And then it has got a highlighter. Okay. And it's all in one. So what could be better? But there are a few downsides to it as well. And then I got this blending device to go with it because it's got a nice spoolie at one end. And at the other, it has the smudger, which... So the reason that I got this, I think they came out at the same time, a Benefit. But the reason I got it is because I like the idea of having a smudger at the other end to smudge out your definer around the eyebrows. All right. Now, as I said, all in all, this is a very good product and it's a very good idea. Okay, so I'm going to get on to these shades because this is one of the reasons that I haven't reached for this a lot. And I did actually mention this in my first impression video. Now, it comes in 5 shades. I'm just looking at my notes because I printed this out. So basically, there's 2 aspects to this because obviously you've got your brow hair and you've got your skin colour around it for the definer. So it comes with 2 aspects that you've got to consider. So one is obviously what colour are your brows, and secondly, what colour is the skin around it. So the 5 shades are this. Okay, so you have got 3 shades in the light skin range. So you've got 3 shades of brow in the light skin range. You have got fair, brown, and brown black. Okay, so 3 shades if you've got fair skin. Fair, brown, and brown black. Then you have 1 shade if you've got medium skin, and that is brown hair. And then you've got 1 shade if you have got dark skin, which is deep skin, brown black hair. Now, when I heard them talking about this, they said, we have made an assumption, as I said in my first impression, that if you have dark skin, then you are going to have brown black hair. And I think all in all, that's a reasonable assumption to make. What I find a bit odd is that they think that people with medium skin have only got mid-brown hair and not brown-black hair. And yet, for the light-skinned people, they've given you 3 brow colour options. They've given you fair brows, brown brows, and brown-black brows. Now, I don't understand the logic to this. If they've understood that people with fair skin can have brown-black brows, why are they assuming that people with medium skin don't have brown-black brows? So anyway, I ended up going for light skin, brown-black brows. I'm definitely got brown-black brows. You can see that my hair looks almost black, and when I have been matched in Benefit to a brow product, they've matched me to 6, which is brown-black. But I don't have light skin. And that is one of the main reasons that I haven't picked this up as much. I think if it had actually matched my skin tone as well as it did my brows, I would have done, because it's so convenient. You can actually use a concealer. But if I've got to use another concealer with this, then it defeats the purpose. So I did contact Benefit. I contacted them from various different social media like Instagram. I left a question under a comment, quite a few things on Instagram, and I got ignored. Nobody wanted to answer. And I also left a question on a YouTube video advertising the product. And I said, why don't you do brown black if you've got medium skin tone? Totally ignored. All right. So, bit rubbish, really. So that's why I haven't reached for it, because I basically think, well, if I've got to use this and then reach for another concealer to go around my brows, then it defeats the object. That's number one reason. The other reason is, I think, is to tell you a little bit about this product. This product is very good if you're somebody that's got very sparse brows and you want to block fill them in. If you like more natural looking brows, i.e. hair-like strokes, this is not fine enough to do that. Now, if I just show you the tip here, let me just, I've got plenty left because I haven't used it that much. If I just show you the tip here, you'll see that it's quite thick and it's sort of got a flattened top. Now, because it's got a flattened top, you might think, well, you could just get the edge of that flattened top to get hair-like strokes. But the reality is that the product is so soft that the minute you go onto the side, you're still not going to get anything that is very, very thin a line. So it's very good for filling in a line, filling in your brows. But it's not so good when you're here and you want to get more hair-like strokes. Fine if you want a kind of block brow and you don't mind that look. But again, if you want a hair-like brow, it's not brilliant for that. And what I tend to do, what I tend to favour when I'm doing my brows, is to use one of the mascara type ones, either Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows or the Anastasia one that's just come out, because you comb that in and give it a little brush with your spoolie and it still looks like brow hair. And then if I've still got a few patches, I'll draw them in with my MAC, I've forgotten what they call it, but the pen that I have, Shape and Shade. So that's the second reason I don't reach for it a lot. But I still think that I would have come back to this had this been the right skin tone for me. Now, my only other option to try is to go for the medium skin tone and get a lighter brown hair. It says if your skin tone is medium and your brow hair is light brown. It's not light brown. That's the problem. It isn't light brown. And I just don't understand why they appreciate that somebody with fair skin can have brown black hair, but medium skin can't. Please, somebody explain that to me in the comments, because they don't seem to be attempting. This came out 9 months ago and they haven't filled in that gap. And I don't understand why. Anyway, enough of that. But it really is quite frustrating. So I'm going to use this and I'm going to show you the effect that it does. Now, this brow tool, I think I would use it if I'd use the product, because this would be very good for smudging out this definer. I think when I'm using other products, if I am carving out my brows with a concealer, it's generally a liquid concealer, and this smudger is no good for that. This is more good for blending out a kind of pencil type concealer, which this is. But I'm going to show you what it looks like, and I'm going to show you what I mean. But let me just show you what I mean about this definer. I'm just going to pencil some of this onto my hand. I'll try, but it's just given way on me. There we go. So this is the definer shade. Now, if you look at this, it doesn't look too bad there, but you'll notice when I start carving out my brows that it looks quite pink in its undertone, and it's certainly not designed for a medium skin tone. My only other option is to go for brown, black and deep skin toned, but I really think that that would be too dark. So if I show you this, there is the deep one, and you can see there, that to me looks like it's going to be too dark. Actually, that's a highlighter, that's the definer, so that would definitely be too dark. And then the one that I've got is this one, so you can see that the brow hair is the right one, but these are too light. What I need is the medium skin tone definer and concealer, definer and highlighter, but I need a darker colour brow shade. I know I keep going on about it, but it frustrates me. Okay, let's stop talking about that now. So first of all, with this, I will go in. Let me just do one brow. Let me do this brow. So I'll go in with the spoolie and just comb it up. And whenever you go into Benefit or you see anyone from Benefit doing brows, you will notice that they use a spoolie a lot when they're doing somebody's brow. They're not only before they do it, but whilst they're doing it between coats. And I do think that is the secret to having something that looks very, very natural. I should just point out that this brow shaper that I'm talking about has got a spoolie on one end and a smudger on the other. Now, you can get a spoolie on its own for a lot cheaper than this, but having looked to see whether I could get a similar one with a smudger on, they're not available. So this is the only one that's got a smudger. It might not look like hairs necessarily, but it's not going to look thick and painted on either. So first of all, the idea of this is that you go in with the lighter shade on this side, and then you finish off with the darker shade on the tail of the brow, because that is the part that will always be darker. Now, as we age and our brows thin out, you will see that it doesn't look that much darker because they've thinned out. They tend to thin out more that end, and then they gradually thin from the outside in. So if you fill out the ends with a darker colour, it is going to immediately give that appearance of being younger. A younger complexion, a younger face, because your brows actually say an awful lot about your face frame, about your general face condition. So it is really important to get your brows right in terms of making yourself. It might seem sometimes like, you know, sometimes I go out like I did today and I didn't have my brows done. But when you fill them in, it makes a big difference. So I'm going to go in with the lighter shade and I'm going to start off. Now you just wind this up like this. And it is quite soft, so you do find that you have to kind of keep winding it up because it does erode away as you're using it because it's very soft. So I'm just doing light strokes in the direction of my hair, and obviously the more you press on it, the more defined it's going to be. Just start off gently and gradually build it up, and then with each time I brush it out. And as I said, if you look at any Benefit brow tutorial, you will see that they always do that, and it does make a big difference to how natural it looks. Now you can see here I've got patchy areas. Now I actually would rather put a thinner pencil in that area. Now Benefit do a thinner pencil which is really, really good, called Precisely My Brow, and I've got a travel size of that and I find it really good. And you can get thinner strokes and it's in a pencil form. So if you like a pencil but you want a thinner one to give you a kind of more realistic hair-like stroke, then have a look at Precisely My Brow. Now I've done that, and now I'm going to change over to the darker shade and do the tail of my brow. So I'm just going to do one brow so that you can see the difference. And now again I'm moving down in the direction of the brow hair and then gradually merging those two colours together. And then I'll take my brush again and I'll give it a brush. Now when you start brushing your brows like this in between coats, you will find that you get a little bit of brow product around the brow, which you can remove with a Q-tip or yeah, we all know what Q-tips are. We call them something else in the UK. And I can't even remember what we call them now. I can only remember the American word, but Jack will remember it. Jack, what do we call those things? Baby buds, cotton buds. That's it. Jack, that was really clever. You just telepathically transmitted that to my head. Okay, so you can just go along, fill this in. And you can also get quite a if you like your brows quite defined. I'm just going to go back to the lighter brown. You can do a reasonably good outline with this if you want more of an outline. Like so. Sometimes that will depend on what look you're aiming for. Okay, and again, just before I go on to the next step, I'll give it a good brush, and I try and brush it in the direction of the hair, because that will also avoid you getting too much on the outside of the brow. If I brush up a lot, then I'm going to get it up there. Okay, so you can see the difference now between that side and that side. Then the next thing is you go in with the definer. Now this is the bit that I've been moaning constantly about, but I think you'll see in a minute what I'm trying to say. So the idea of this is that you go round the brow like this, and it's what they call carving out the brow. But what it does is it just makes your brows look more defined and tidier, because you're kind of going round, outlining it with your skin colour or slightly lighter. And it's not the depth of shade of this colour that doesn't work very well on me. It's the undertone when I start blending it in. So I'll just outline that. And then I'll go in with this smudger and you will see what I mean. As I start to blend it in, it might actually, I'm saying this, it might look okay today, but we'll see. It starts to look a bit too pink for me compared to the rest of my face. So it looks like I've got an outline rather than blending in with my skin. And what I'll do is I'll do the other brow in a minute, and I'll put a concealer around that matches my skin tone so that you can see the difference. But if I move up, probably from a distance it looks fine, but if I come up close, you can see that it quite clearly is too fair for me. And it is such a shame. Now, the last step is the highlighter. And the highlighter is just that. It's to highlight your brow bone, just to further define and bring out the beauty of your brows. And again, you go back in with your smudger and just smudge that out like so. So that's what it looks like. Quite easy to do, and it's all in one. And if this worked for me all in one, I probably would have used it a lot more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other brow. I'll do it off camera and I'll come back, and then I'm going to show you what it would look like if I had a colour that actually matched my skin, and then you can see the difference. Okay, but I'll just do my other brow and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done my brow, so I'm going to take some Magic Away concealer, because that's a reasonably good match with my skin, and I'm just going to put some on the end of a Q-tip. So I'm going to have it like it's just like it's the pen. It's going to be the same sort of size, and I'm going to go around this brow with Magic Away instead, and I'll hopefully show you the difference when you manage to get the right shade to carve out your brows. And then I'll just, with the other side, which is a flat side of this, I'll just go round and smudge that in. And then I will show you the two brows once I've done the highlighter close up. So I'll finish off with the highlighter. And I'll smudge that in with my fingers. Okay, so I'm now going to close up on both brows, and I think you will see what I mean. With this, you can see a big white line around my brows. But with this one, it just looks like my brows. And that, my friends, is why I haven't used this product as much. Now, you know, I could use it and use Magic Away, as I say, But the whole idea of this is to have a handy all-in-one pen. The other thing is I could get the medium one and use the definer shade of the medium one with this one. But again, that's a lot of money to spend getting two products, because Benefit have made a massive gap in the market. I think there's a lot of people with my kind of skin tone that have got dark brows, and they need to make this. If you do like block brows, or you've got very scarce brows and you want a solution that's going to give you a nice tidy brow that isn't going to mean getting lots of products, this is a really good solution. And if it matched me, I would probably have used it a lot. If you're somebody that likes very fine hair-like strokes, and you like your brows to look very natural, like it's just your hair, and not that kind of blocked out look, then this isn't for you. There are lots of other options, and please comment below and I will give you some of my recommendations, because I've tried loads and loads of brow products. And I also did a video a long time ago where I went through all the different types of brow products you can get, from the kind of brow mascaras, the clear brow mascaras, the pens, the pencils, and even a brow cushion as well. So, you know, if you do have any queries about what is the best product for your brows, do put a comment underneath and I will let you know. I do think this has got its place, and I'm just really frustrated because I probably would have used it a lot more had it not been for this. But I'm not going to take out two products when this is supposed to be all in one, because I'm a bit stubborn like that. If I buy a solution that means I don't need other products, then I don't want to use other products with it. It's that simple. Now, if you're somebody that really doesn't like to spend too long on their brows, again, this is not a product for you, because it's got 4 aspects to it. It's great if you're going out and you want a really defined brow, but it's not the quickest way of doing your brows. If you like to do your brows in a hurry, I would definitely suggest either the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows or the Anastasia Dip Brow Comb Mascara Type Wand, because those ones are the simplest, and there's quite a few other brands that make those as well. And I would always say just go for the smallest brush that you can buy if you're looking for one of those. But if you're very scarce on brows and you have to paint them in a lot, and you're not particularly fussed about getting a really fine line or a hair-like line, then this is a good solution. And if it comes in the shade that you need, and you're not like me, and you're not medium skin tone with very dark brows, then you'll be fine, and it's a great product. There's lots. This, I remember, was quite overpriced for a spoolie. And I remember that I shopped around to try and find this smudging tool. And I couldn't find it anywhere else, which is why I bought it. And I do think if you're getting this product, it's worth getting this, because it's so good at blending in the definer and the highlighter, because it is a pencil. It's very good all in all for blending in pencil. So if you're getting this, I think this is handy to have with it. But if you're using a different concealer that's more liquid, then you don't need it. Or alternatively, you can use a cotton bud like this with a long tip. These ones I get from Waitrose, and they're called cosmetic tipped cotton buds. And so rather than the original cotton buds, or Q-tips as you may call them, they've got one end that's got a very fine tip to it, which is very good at getting in around here, and the other side has got a flat end to it, so that's quite good for blending, or you can even put on eyeshadow with this. So they're very handy to have, and they're a lot better than the original ones for makeup. So definitely recommend those. They're called cosmetic tipped cotton buds, essential Waitrose if you live in the UK. Okay, so that's my review. All in all, not a bad product. Really annoyed about the colour range and the gaps. But a very good idea. It's just a pity that Benefit seem to be closed off in terms of their ears and listening to what their customers are saying about missing shades. So, you know, next time I message you, Benefit, answer me. I can't be the only person in the world that has medium skin tone and very dark brow hair. So come on, get another shade and I'll be the first one to purchase. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been useful. Any questions, please leave them below, and have a great day. And I'll see you all. I'm hoping to see you tomorrow, but I haven't had a chance yet to sort out my Wi-Fi. So we'll have to kind of see how it goes tomorrow, see what my Wi-Fi is doing, and I'll let you know. All right, but take care, and I'll see you very soon. I'll leave a message below about the live, so keep a lookout, and I'll leave a message below about what's happening tomorrow with the live. All right, take care. Have a lovely day. If you want to know what makeup I'm wearing, just look below in the description bar. I always put all the makeup that I'm wearing. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.